Hey guys, this is Sean Conway with your quick arena fitness tip. Today we're going to be talking about squatting progressions and how to take your squat from a bodyweight squat to a barbell squat. Squatting overall is one of the best exercises that you can do for activities of daily living, sport performance, or just your overall health. As with anything, we want to make sure that we warm up the body properly before we go into the squat. Because it is a total body movement, we want to make sure that our upper body is nice, strong, and stable, our core is activated, our hip, knee, and ankle are all mobilized, and they're ready to perform the action that we want to do. When I'm working with a new client or somebody who's looking to start squatting, the first thing I'll always do is see how they squat naturally, or see what they do when they perform the squat. And then we take things from there. So what we'll start with is a simple body weight squat, where we want to squat down. We want to have the knees tracking over top of the toes, the hips dropping below the knee, and the femur parallel to the ground. Our torso should also be parallel to our shins, going straight up. And normally we'll take a client through that several times. I'll be looking from different angles, so from the front, from the side, and from the back. Seeing how they react, seeing what their body does. We want this movement to be balanced, and we want it to be pain-free. As with anything in exercise, if you are feeling pain, please go see a medical practitioner, find out what's going on, and come report back to us, to the trainers, and we'll help you through that or how to progress from there. Now, if we do have somebody who has a limited range of motion, what I will typically do is I will start them with a box squat. We'll still stay body weight, so totally unloaded, where they're gonna come down, touch their booty to the bench, and then stand back up. And we'll repeat that several times, progressing lower and lower with a bench or a box. From there, once that movement's pain-free and we have them to that nice natural body squat, then we'll progress to a little bit of a loaded squat, starting with a goblet squat. What we're gonna do with that, we're gonna come over and grab our dumbbell, and pick that up. This can be any implement that you want to, so a dumbbell, kettlebell, or a weight plate is totally fine. And again, we're just going to repeat that body weight squat movement, dropping down and standing back up. Again, all of our other tenons should be the same, so we drop down, my knees are tracking over top of my toes, my hips are down below my knees, my torso's nice and straight into the air, and we're standing right back up again. Again, as the trainer, I'm gonna look at this from several different angles, from the front, side, and back. If once we move into that loaded position, the client is having trouble getting back down into that proper positioning, we'll go back over to the box squat. So again, bringing that dumbbell up, holding it chest height, and dropping down to the bench, and standing back up. Down to the bench, standing back up. This reinforces that movement pattern, and I can cue, or the individual can learn more about what their body's doing, getting into that proper position, and then pressing into that full goblet squat again, and standing back up. When I'm working with a client, typically we'll progress the goblet squat with weight until they're able to do about 100 pounds or so with the dumbbell before moving them onto the barbell. What this tells me as the trainer is that they are strong enough and stable enough to be able to hold something outside of their body size. And again, we'll go back over to our barbell next and address what's going on. So here we are with our barbell. And again, we're gonna take that progression just like we did with our goblet squat and transfer it over to the barbell. So we're gonna start nice and light, bring that barbell, and we're gonna hold this barbell in our front rack position. So this can be either elbows up, hands on the bar, or we can cross here if this is a little bit more comfortable. The barbell is going to sit just on top of the clavicle, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable, at least to start. We'll get through that and work with it to make sure that the client's comfortable and they're nice and controlled during this movement. Because the barbell is now longer than our goblet squat is, we have to be able to balance that side-to-side motion. So again, Why do we progress the goblet squat the way that we do? It's so that we can be stable and controlled in this position here. After that, everything else, all our other tenets from the body weight squat and the goblet squat are the same. So barbell nice and tall, torso upright, drop down, my knees are still tracking over my toes, my hips are still getting below my knees, and we're standing up again. And again, we're gonna repeat that several times. Down and up, down and up. Just like with the goblet squat, we're gonna continue to progress this with either weight or reps, and then we'll start moving over to our back squat, probably the most complicated of the movements because of where the weight sits on the body. What I will typically do with a client is I will have them getting within 75 to 100% of their body weight on the bar in a front squat before I progress them over to a back squat. So we're back to the barbell, and we're gonna go over the barbell back squat now. All right, so just like our front squat, we're still gonna use our barbell and we're gonna progress this from the bottom up. So we're gonna start with lighter weight and move to something heavier and progress the movement moving forward. You'll see that we're in the power rack now, and we'll go over how to remove this from the rack itself. So what we wanna do is we wanna have the barbell set just shorter than where our shoulders are, because again, this is going to sit on our back. So we don't want to reach for it as we're taking this barbell off. We want to be able to come down almost into a little bit of like a quarter or a fifth of a squat, take the barbell off, and then walk it out of the hooks. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our hands just outside shoulder width. We're going to come down, dip underneath the bar. It's going to sit right across our upper back. We're going to stand, and we're going to walk out into a nice position. Again, all of our tenets are going to be the same, whether it was the body squat, goblet squat, or front squat. Knees are going to track over top, torso is going to be upright, hips are going to be beneath our knees. The only difference between this and our front squat is going to be where that position sits. So as I dip down, because the weight is now sitting on my back, I'm going to be a little bit more forward than I was with the front squat, where I was able to lean back into the weight a little bit and stand back up. That's totally fine. We have to make that accommodation because of where the barbell's sitting. What we really want to make sure is that the barbell is over top of our center of mass, all right? So we don't want to hinge forward here and stand back up, or we don't want to get down to the bottom and kind of swing or rotate to either side. We want to be nice, strong, under control, down and back up. Again, keeping that barbell right over our center of mass, knees tracking over our toes, hips below our knees, and torso upright. When we're done, we're gonna back into the rack again, hit those J hooks, and drop back down, hopefully, and be done with it. Again, we'll continue to progress this motion, and this is not a linear progression by any means. Just because we've gone and we've succeeded at the goblet squat doesn't mean that we won't come back to that in training. There are all kinds of different squats and squat variations that we can do. Please talk to your trainer or a trainer on the floor to ask if you're looking to progress your squat or looking for something new to spice up your workout. Thank you for joining me on this Arena Club tip, and I look forward to seeing you in the gym.